My name is Jennifer Speakman. I'm completing this assignment for Nursing Management, Liberty University Online, and I'm going to be interviewing Pam Johnson, a fellow registered nurse, to find out her beliefs on servant leadership. And do I have your permission to videotape
Yes.
and use this?
You do.
Okay, all right. My first question is, what are your personal leadership strengths?
Well, I feel like I'm an honest person. I think I don't mind admitting if I make a mistake, even if I'm disappointed in myself, because I'm human, and I think that if I were in the position to be a leader, that for people to see that I can admit my mistake might make them trust me better. I also feel like if I was in the leadership position, I would want to be competent to do the job. So I think that's an important quality that a leader needs to have, is to be competent in doing all of the jobs, because they're going to be making decisions for us. So I at least want them to know what we have to do, what our job entails. And that way I trust them that they're making a good decision. So I think competency and honesty are two good qualities. And plus I think that it's to be excited about my job. Like I want to be excited about what I do, and I feel like it makes others know that I think, hey, we're moving on, we're doing something good here. This is great, this is fun, we're doing something right. Instead of like being bogged down about everyday stuff, like, it makes everybody feel inspired if they think that we're going somewhere and that we're on the right track. So being excited about your job is a big plus
I think that's great.
for me.
Yes. Can you tell me, how would you allow for staff members to meet their full potential, and so how would you accomplish that goal?
Well, I think that definitely I would allow for people to meet their full potential, and the way I would accomplish that goal is to encourage them. Notice when they meet certain goals. Notice that, say like, oh, great job, and encourage them to work. Like if they know that you notice what they're doing, they will work harder for you. Like if you were like, oh, you got this, I know you've got this, you've got what it takes. Even by giving, like, you can even give a reward, like, oh, you met your deadline, or you met your goal, oh, you get a pizza party, or you get whatever. Those little things right there go a long way for me in the past. So I think those are ways people can meet their goals. Just let them know that they can do it, and you have faith in them that they can do the job.
I think all those things would work for me. How would you handle suggestions and feedback when negotiating changes and or improvements within a unit?
Well, I would listen. I'd listen to the suggestions and feedback. I would welcome them. If I were in the leadership role, I would like to have an open door policy where people aren't afraid to come and talk to me and tell me their opinions. And even if I didn't take their suggestions, at least they would feel like that somebody heard them and they tried. So, and I would try to either understand what they're asking and explain why it can't be like that, or I would entertain the idea of doing what they ask. I mean, I would welcome feedback and suggestions.
Okay. Would you?
I mean, I wouldn't want anybody to feel like I was judging them, or that I would retaliate, like, oh yeah, they want to, I wouldn't want them to be nervous about asking or coming to me or whatever. Did that answer your question?
It did, yes,
Okay.
thank you. Would you describe yourself as a servant leader, and can you give me an example of your ability, or even if you know of a story of someone else's ability to display that trait?
Okay. I would describe myself, if I were in the leadership role, I would want to be a servant leader. Because a servant leader would mean that I'm going to meet others' needs. I'm going to meet my people's needs. I mean, if you're working for me, I want to make sure that you've got the things you need to get your job done. That anything that I can do to help you get your job done, I want to do it. Plus, I would try to meet the needs of the organization I'm working for. So, and I want people to know that I wouldn't be afraid of doing things that I would ask them to do. So, I do have an example. My brother worked for a big company that they would transfer him to their companies that were having issues. And he would go in there, try to figure out what was wrong, and try to build the company back up. So he would go into these places to live and take his family, and then go into these companies that had not experienced good success. And then he would all of a sudden be their boss, not know anybody, but the first thing he would do would be to meet with those people and say, here's what we need to do, and here's how I think we can get there. I'll take any suggestions you offer. I understand you've struggled, and we're going to all meet here Sunday and clean up the stock room, and I'm buying pizza for everybody. So it was kind of encouraging. They're like, okay. And I mean, and he was out there sweeping with the broom too, so they knew that he was going to be a servant leader, and he was going to listen to them, and they worked like crazy for him. So
he was a,
that's just an example that
yeah,
I can think of. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
yes.
Does that make sense?
It does, yes. That's
How'd
a
I
great
do?
example.
How'd I do?
You did good, thank you.
You better give her an A+. She's a great student.
This has elicited a lot of thoughts on my part as far as, are people natural born leaders or not? I think it would be a very difficult skill, not
Yeah.
necessarily for me, but I can see where some people, like the story that you just told, I think I would consider him to be one of those more
Right.
natural born leaders.
It makes you appreciate your good boss,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes you recognize your not so great boss.
Yes, yes, very true. Thank you for your time today.
I'm glad we didn't laugh. I was going to get tickled.
We did good.
We did good.
Thank you very much.